Like, I don't know if we've had a guy like Glorio where it's
Seems
like,
kind of like a.
turn up like the vegetable. That's a reference to E40's BET cipher. Buus is big cuz who did time in jail. In jail.
Man, they had to
Jail
lock him
being the
away for a
cocoon that
bit.
Bibbit put him in.
Yo.
Someone's gonna have a problem with everything you do. So do what you enjoy, and similar-minded people, like-minded people will gravitate to that thing. You know what I mean? You'll find your audience as long as you're genuine. Welcome back to another episode.
Yes,
It's been a little bit since we recorded. It's a whole new year.
It is. It's fucking
whole new
2025
fucking
now,
year, man.
Happy New
2025.
Year. Shoot.
Yeah.
Man,
we're
speaking of New Year, actually, before we get into it, you got any New Year's resolutions that you want to tell the people about for
I always
2025? You got
You see, I
any
always try to
specific?
keep my resolutions like pretty tame so that they're easy to follow.
I feel
Last
it.
year my resolution was get more tattoos, and I got
I feel like you follow through.
like 4 of them. I got my finger tat, got my Sharingan, got my Kuma tattoo.
Yeah, see that, and that's
got my Spirited Away tattoo on my back, which y'all ain't gonna be able to see right now.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the Spirited Away one
I
at
got
all.
I got the little paper thing that follows Chihiro around
Okay,
when
okay,
she's chasing Haku up the tower.
okay. I remember you sending me a picture of that one, but I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like, okay,
But yeah, to the people who want to see the ones they can see, can you get the shot? Yeah, there we go. That's Itachi. There's Kuma right there. My Sailor Moon tat fucking faded really bad, but it was Luna sitting on a crescent moon on account of my daughter's name being Luna. So it was
got
like
you.
for that. Should have got
Oh,
it
yeah.
somewhere where it wouldn't fade away so damn quick.
I mean, I don't got anything on my fingers yet, but I mean, my hand ones have been keeping up a little bit. I guess it depends on what job you're doing at the time. Because when I first got this star, I was like cooking with my hands a lot, and I worked at a restaurant. And I was like cooking all the time, and like the shit just fucking
Yeah,
faded.
no,
Like
real
I
bad
got this shit
environment for
touched
that.
up like multiple times before it got to where it just stuck.
But as for resolutions for this year, I think I'm gonna stick with like try to go to a couple more concerts.
Type shit.
I saw
type
one
shit,
show this last year. Went with you to Childish Gambino. That
which
shit
was
was
fucking amazing.
And so this year I want to try and do more of that. We already got our tickets to Kendrick and SZA, so
Which
we're doing that. I'm
I
excited for
can't
that.
fucking wait for that.
I've never seen Kendrick before. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen Eminem, Drake, Wayne, Gambino, Cole. Never got around to Kendrick. So
Yeah, no,
it's gonna
and
be an
it's a good
experience.
time to do it too. And
Probably
he's gonna
the
be
best
fucking
time
fresh
ever.
off of the Super Bowl too. Like shit,
And SZA gonna be there?
shit,
Okay, yeah.
shit. But yeah, nah. For me though, as far as resolutions, I already kind of told you what my goal was for this year. Is I've actually like more seriously picked up my ukulele, which is the guitar mixed with the ukulele.
Guitar-kalele.
So yeah, it's for anyone that doesn't necessarily know, its first 4 strings are the exact same strings as like a low G tuned ukulele, and then it adds on an A string and a D string. You can tune it other ways, but that's basically the basic A tuning for the ukulele. And I've been really getting to know it quite more intimately over the last few days, and it's kind of just been taking up a lot of my time. And my goal for the end of the year is to be able to call myself a multi instrumentalist. So I've been working on that, and
So
my
you're already
keyboard
on a
game.
good track to that.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we might pick up a full size guitar at some point in the year to actually kind of transition, because like my mission with getting the ukulele as it started was to be
Yeah.
able to transfer that skill into guitar, and then transfer that into other fucking stringed
Right, beat.
instruments.
Yeah.
So
Shit comes in handy for beat making. So you know.
right, yeah, and then if I just get like a quick easy riff idea, I can just plug that shit in.
Beauty and the Beat on all streaming services now.
Yeah, which also, speaking of a quick plug, yes, we dropped.
We both dropped our first collab album ever for both of us.
Yes. And
Been a long
man,
time coming. Tell
man,
y'all I've known this motherfucker since like 2013,
12, end of 12.
2012, end of 2012. And fucking damn, like 13 years later, now we got our album together out on all streaming services, Spotify, whatever. You look up Nick Swisher, SWSHR, you'll find me. Look up Samad Terrell, you'll find him.
Mhm.
And you'll find it on both our pages.
And yeah, nah, like not to toot our own horns, but man, look, we showed out on
I'll
that.
toot
We
it.
showed out on some Beauty and the Beat. Let
Toot
me tell
toot.
you, like, but nah, like I would say we're off to a really good start for the year because like even like I don't know, I always have I guess like this self driven goal since I started making music to have at least a project out in a year. I mean,
Hmm.
that's already knocked out for this year.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm trying to do that basically for this whole decade. Like I'm halfway there with it. I've
Yeah,
dropped an
no.
album per year since 2020.
Hmm.
But real quick, because we sort of skipped introductions this time, didn't we?
We did.
Welcome
We went straight
back.
into it's
Welcome
top of the
back
year, so it kind of did just happen
to
like
the
that,
To
huh?
Be Determined podcast.
Yes, yes, to be
That is
determined.
still what we're calling it.
Mm-mm.
We're up to episode 3 now.
Mhm.
Due to weather conditions, we wanted to have the entire crew here for this one,
Yes.
but it's been narrowed down to just me and the homie here because we are snowed into this bitch. We are snowed in my house. Can't fucking drive.
You
Can't
don't
get
want to see the
nowhere.
driveway.
It's
That
like
shit's high.
a toddler would fall in that snow and be lost to time. Like it's bad. Don't let your dogs or cats outside right now.
You're sacrificing them to the wilderness if you do that. Don't do it. Don't
Yeah,
do
nah. It ain't worth it. Let them shit inside.
it. But yeah, nah. So aside from all of that though, what we got on the plate for today? What we talking about?
Well, had a little bit of Dragon Ball on the mind.
Some
We've talked
dragon. Fuck the dragon.
we've talked
Dragon.
about this
Oh,
already on the
I don't know
pod
if y'all grew up
once.
with that or if y'all grew up with Kaya, but
You
man,
see
that's what I grew
everybody
up with.
you see every time I think back on like watching it as a little kid, my first memories of Dragon Ball are always Budokai.
Yeah,
And
see,
so it
which has
had the
that
rock it
opening. It
had the
had that
Rock the
opening.
Dragon
Yeah.
intro, so that's what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Terrible song. Like if we're just being honest with ourselves, the original
Mm-mm.
theme is shitting on it, but I've got nostalgia for it, so I've got to
It
be
is.
nice to it.
Man, I
I
don't know.
will
I
say
grew up
though,
on that.
had it on the mind because Daima has literally turned up the heat. It's gotten so much better.
Oh, bruh, bruh. Where do we start? Do we start like at the
I
beginning?
think I
Do we
think
start
that
at
we
what?
should basically reestablish the framework here a little bit.
Okay. All
Cause
right.
like I was one of the people that when this series got announced, I was not on board. I was like,
I will second that. I really wasn't either. I was like, bruh, where's super? We want super. Give us that, like that's what we're demanding
not
here.
only that, but it was like Goku turning back into a kid again, and it not being like further in the timeline, but being like closer to Boo. There
Hmm.
was just a lot of stuff that made it seem like why are we
Going back again.
seemingly backtracking? Yeah,
Yeah.
seemingly like going backwards as opposed to like furthering the story we're already telling. That was my issue.
Hmm.
But the thing that's been impressive with it is it's added so much new lore. It's added so much new
And
detail
expanded
that we
on
didn't
an
have before.
existing lore. Yeah.
Expanded the universe, everything from Namekians to Boo to the god hierarchy to how Kais are born. It's given us so much more detail that's filled out the universe that it really does feel now
Hmm.
in a way like I couldn't have imagined like a last gift from Toriyama. Like he was like
Honestly.
he was like answering a lot of overhanging questions that we've had for a long time about
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
where Namekians come from has been a sticking point for a couple of years now because they're
Yeah.
clearly like a different sort of species.
Right, knowing like first finding out that they didn't even come from the original universe is always kind of had me scratching my head like, okay, if you guys aren't from the original like universes that we have, 12, 13, whatever number even the number that it was before it got like, which I think was like 16 or something, until it came
Hmm.
down to 13 and then 12 to make them all even or whatever the case, and have their like sister mirror universe to them. It's like once we found out that they didn't come from any of those universes, it
Hmm.
was just like, what? But then, like, we already got our explanation, even from that point, how there's Universe 6 Namekians and how
Yeah.
there's a Namek that's on the cereal planet that was never on Namek as
Now
it was seen.
this
So
is
it's
one of
like,
the things though that
where,
this is one of the
having that
things
answer is
though
great.
that's this is one of the things that's a little confusing though, because you bring up the point of like the Universe 6 Namekians and how we had all these unanswered questions for a long time. But one of the things that this series is doing that I think is interesting
Mm,
is something Toriyama always does with his writing, which is he's kind of just throwing out old shit that he doesn't give a fuck about anymore so that he can tell the story he's currently trying to tell. Like, if you read the original manga, there's no bones about it. Majin Buu was created by Bibbidi. That is what the original manga tells you.
hmm
Okay, and the original manga is just beginning of Dragon Ball to end of Buu arc. Everything beyond that, if you view it as extracurricular, I don't blame you.
I
But
feel
now
that.
this new series is telling us, no, actually, Majin Buu was created by this old witch lady. Seems pretty straightforward. But then you look at Toriyama interviews from like 2014, he was telling us Boo's existed forever, like since before time started, and now he's backtracking on that too. So it's
But
one of those
like,
things where is this a case where he forgot stuff? Or
or
a
is it
case
a
where he's
very good
intentionally backtracking? Or does all of this just tie together
tie
in a way that
into
we don't
together?
see?
Which is like, I can see it in a way that it would tie together based off of the fact that, like, if you think about all of these things, we're considering Dr. Arenzu um as the being that's like in charge of Majin Ku and Majin Du as like their master, as if she's the one who created them. Which, like,
Mm,
yeah, if we watch the episodes, we know that the old Majin Witch is like the physical creator, but like she wouldn't have done so if it wasn't for Renzu kind of planting the seed for like, hey, this is
hmm
the idea, I want this done. So it's like, if we take that same logic and kind of take that to like Bibbity way back before, what if he went to the witch and was like, hey, blase, 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 make this for me.
hmm
And now it's long before anyone was leaving the demon realm, because there wasn't anything outside of a demon realm yet, which would
Yeah.
be before time, as that's more of like a human construct as is. Oh shit. You know?
Yeah, you seem to have a point.
So it's like, if we think about it like that, it
Because
really just ties
I
it all
low key
together.
had forgotten that lore dump that they gave us that like the demon world existed first.
Exactly. So it's like, if
So
the
he could
demon
just be
world is
from there, and it's
first,
like,
exactly. And we know that Majin and all descending beings are basically like a demon realm thing, except for like beings that were born after
Sans
the
and
travel.
humans,
Right.
Sans and humans, basically.
And then like the underdeveloped things that are outside and within
Those
their
dinosaur
system and
guys that
shit.
piss Zamasu off. Those
Basically,
dinosaurs.
yeah. So it's like all these underdeveloped species that the Kais watch over.
I think that we should step back really quick before we keep getting into like the deeper lore stuff,
Should we
and
go
just talk
back
about
through the story?
let's just go through the story and talk about how we felt about it so far.
All right.
This is gonna be the main bulk of the episode here. We're going to go what we're doing here is kind of plot synopsizing and giving what our immediate reactions have been. Cause it's been a little up and down. Cause I felt like the first episode was fucking heat. Was just
I
like
agree.
fire.
Seeing the recap
And
now,
then it
look,
slowed way down. And then it slowed way down for a while. And then
I think I've been low key excited the whole time through. So like, going back to like the first episode, uh,
first things
really,
first, the recaps that they did in
the
that first
recap,
episode
beautiful.
are the
I
most beautiful shit
already,
that Dragon Ball's ever put out. Like it was fucking
I
crazy.
immediately was just like, thank you,
Like
because I immediately felt
I don't
undeserving.
keep up on
I
like the
didn't feel
names of
deserving.
animators and things like that, but whoever worked on that episode, they put their
They
whole dick and balls into it, man. It was crazy.
like, they fucked that shit up, man.
Like
Like,
it was
it's
bad.
fucking good, dude.
It was
Like,
good. Yeah.
whew, man, like, just being able to watch that, and then also you have to take in like the theme of the episode too. It's not like just us watching the recap. It's also our main antagonist watching what transpired.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach for Dragon Ball to take where you're only getting the perspective of the villains to start the story. It doesn't
Right.
start with Goku and Vegeta and them are just chilling doing their normal thing until they
hmm
get shrunk and they're basically not in
And
the story until then.
literally, we just happen to see what's going on. So it's like that was such a really cool approach. Going back on the animation touch, the fact that like it looked like updated classic Z visuals,
Mm-hmm.
and then as they come out of the screen, it becomes our current visual look.
Yeah.
That was,
And it
bruh.
just makes you fucking wish that they would do that shit the whole series. Like just Dragon Ball to the end of Z, just reanimate all that shit. And
Like how it looked on the screen during the
you'll make a
recap.
billion
Because,
zenny.
dude, that's
You'll
so
make you'll
beautiful.
make a
Yes.
billion zenny. You'll make a billion.
Easy. But like, nah, I think that was like a good point to really getting hyped up, honestly, and knowing that the series was already complete before we were even getting that first episode. So you're like, okay, wait. If the first episode looked this beautiful, even just in that aspect alone, I'm looking forward to the entire series. Like,
Mhm.
no matter what, I think I've been looking forward to every episode just to see how beautiful it's going to be in one aspect. And that's what the first episode definitely brought to the table.
One thing that I will say, because I at this point I was already into the show,
Hmm.
but I knew from the outset that this was going to be a hurdle to get past. Him wishing for them to be tiny just feels contrived. No matter what you're doing, it just feels like Toriyama just wants them to be little, so he's going to, for no reason, make the villain say, "I'm gonna turn them little." When literally
Hey,
you could wish for them to be locked in another dimension. You could
maybe.
wish for them to be dead. You could wish for them to be in the middle of space so that they just fucking suffocate and die.
But
You
you
could
know what? You know what, though? Outside of
you could
like,
wish for them to all to be infants so that they're babies and they can't do anything. Him wishing for them
I'm
to just
gonna,
be tiny just doesn't make sense. If you're trying to eliminate them
in
as a threat, that doesn't. What does that
but
accomplish?
I think
What does
though,
that?
I think actually here, now that you've stated that part of the question though, I mean like we did get like a half-ass in-universe answer. Is that going forward through the series, you get that the demon realm, they've they locked away being able to transfer in and out of the demon realm
Yeah,
because of being scared of forces that could come from outside that were like bred from out there and everything like that, and
yeah.
how strong they could be. They probably have heard of a being called Frieza or some shit, and kind of like
Bad
I,
motherfucker.
you know what I mean. Even though it was locked off probably long before then, but like, 'cause I
Yeah.
doubt that Frieza's
It
anywhere
was because
near
of
as
King
old as
Cold. We
shit.
don't know.
You know what I mean? But like, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
some sort of fucking beings were out there just terrorizing shit the fuck up,
Fuck.
and they're
Maybe it was
like,
because of
ah,
Kid
they
Buu.
can't come
Maybe
here.
it was because of
Right,
Kid
because
Buu.
he got out.
He killed fucking
Exactly.
4 Supreme Kais. They were like, "Oh shit." They were
Nah,
like, oh.
but like that's true shit though. Like that, it's very valid. So it's like when you think about it, they all seem to have like a cap idea of power in
Mhm.
a way. You know what I mean? Like even Deborah, where he was pre-Majin boost, couldn't defeat a Tamagami. But then Goku, Vegeta gets down here, which we'll touch on later. But like they get down there and they cakewalk a Tamagami, and they were already gonna they were already disappointed at
We're,
how long it was taking
we're jumping.
Gohan to beat Deborah.
We're jumping ahead a little bit with the Tamagamis. We'll get to them
Exactly.
when we
That's why
get
I
to
said
them.
I'll touch on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
part
yeah.
later. But then, like, the thing is, though, we're kind of introduced to the idea of these beings and things very early on. We learned that about Deborah throughout, like, the first and second episode. Like, you know what I mean? We learned that Deborah wasn't strong enough to wasn't able to defeat one in, like, the first one, two, three episodes. Like this is that first little, still early little story tidbits on our way into the demon realm as we're learning these things. You know what I mean?
But
So it's like,
basically, yeah, basically, episode one does a good job of setting the scene. It introduces you to the big players, which is Arinsu, Goma, and Shin's brother, whose name I can't remember because he hasn't really done nothing yet.
I guess the Gesu,
Degasu, yeah,
Degasu.
Degasu.
Yep.
But
Yeah, and we met Neva on that episode as well when he turned them into the children. We get to see that. That's a first episode thing too.
that's in the first episode.
Is
Okay.
watching an ancient Namekian, Neva, seemingly have this just great ancient power to control
A level
other
of Namekian magic
sets
we've never seen.
of Dragon Balls.
Mm-hmm.
Summon them from where they were. They'd recently been used, so they were still stone.
Mm-hmm.
Force them refreshed, and then summon Shenron out of them.
That's fucking bananas.
was fucking nuts.
Can I tell you? Can I ask you something? Have you ever heard of a comic called Dragon Ball Multiverse?
Multiverse, yes, yes.
Yeah, there's a character in Dragon Ball Multiverse, which is like an alternate reality, like timeline comic where different universes that are basically different what if timelines for Dragon Ball all come together for like a battle world type tournament.
Hmm.
There's one universe where Nail fused together with every other Namekian on the planet Namek to counter the Frieza threat, and he basically became a god Namekian called Gast Garkol. Okay? He had levels of magic that were very similar to what Neva does here. Like he just
Bruh.
had like control over dragons and shit. He was able to seal Boo with no problem. He's just got broken ass magic, broken ass Namekian voodoo magic.
That
Like
is crazy. And it's like I love that we're diving deeper into stuff like that.
into Namekian lore.
Hmm. Learning that answer of them coming from the demon realm, like, and having that confirmed, like, ugh, bruh, that stuff is just honestly great. But then, like, we go into the next episode and we get to meet who's like our traveling counterpart, basically, that the story kind of takes place with. And
Glorio.
uh one thing that I definitely love that's also introduced here when we meet him is this ongoing joke that just has Toriyama sprinkled all over it, is that Goku never pronounces this nigga's name correctly. And it is so funny. Like, I
What's
live
funny
for
is
that.
that's kind of like that's not usually a thing that Goku does. That's kind of a Luffyism. Like Luffy is the
But
guy who is always fucking up people's names.
right, and it's like him not remembering it has to be a sign though too. Like, you know what I
Is
mean?
there something about Glorio that he just doesn't vibe with? Is that the problem?
Or else he would when's he not remembered someone's name, especially if he ended up like caring about them in some way, shape, or
Yeah, I
form,
mean,
so that that is right there is what where it feels like, come
also
on.
Glorio looks suspiciously like Tawa from or is it Mira? It's one of them from fucking Xenoverse.
uh
Is he Tawa or Mira?
well,
Mira, it's
I'm
Mira.
picturing both
It's
of them,
Mira.
and yeah, it is kind of like Mira, yeah.
It's Mira who he's a bad guy in 2 who absorbs the witch
Well,
lady.
and in the first one too, they both originate from the hero story actually too. That's
Anyway though. Anyway though, in episode 2 we get to see everybody in all of their chibi glory. We get to see little Roshi, little Mr.
oh wait, yeah,
Satan,
yeah, yeah.
little
But like
Boo.
to the out of verse question for like why they're kids again is to touch on what you said before. Maybe Toriyama just wanted to have an adventure with a kid Goku again,
And I'm fine
one
with
last
that. I
time.
am fine with that. You know,
You were,
it's your
I'm fine.
baby. Do what you want with it, Toriyama. And honestly, after hanging out with Kid Goku for a little bit, I get it. A couple
Exactly.
episodes into this show, you're like, I totally get it. You're like, because he captures the tone of that version of Goku so much better than like GT does. GT is weird because it's Kid Goku, but he's a grandpa, so he's acting like a grown, experienced, full level Goku, even though he looks like that. But
Mhm.
in this one, Goku's got more of an appropriate IQ level. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah,
where his
yeah.
kid antics feel like in character. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
having
very
him be
like
in his late 30s or like early 40s or whatever, still at this time period like that they chose, I feel like it works.
a little bit better
Yeah,
because he's like 60 in GT.
basically, yeah. So it's like, let's not have old man Goku, even though he don't look a fucking old man. We know how
Personally,
old you are.
personally, something I think is a little weird is like we've seen Kid Gohan, obviously,
Hmm.
but Gohan doesn't look like Kid Gohan. He looks like a shrunken down version of adult Gohan. We've seen Kid Piccolo.
Well, wait, no,
Piccolo
no,
is
no.
like
We
chubby and
haven't
demon
seen
like.
Gohan.
We haven't seen him at all?
No, he's not present at all in
He
Daima.
wasn't there?
No.
I've definitely seen him in promotional stuff and he's shrunken down.
Well, see, I gotta find those pictures because I don't. I tried to stay away from too many of like the leaks and everything like that. Because like
Mm-hmm.
after Toriyama died, I became all
But
right.
then
I'm
it's
looking
not
forward
it's
to.
not just him though.
But
There's also like
yeah,
Kid
he's not.
Piccolo. Kid Piccolo is like supposed to be like chubby and like kind of feral looking,
Well, it's
but
like
he's just like shrunken down,
what
grown
Krillin
Piccolo.
pointed out. It seems like we've only kind of been shrunken into size rather than actually
I
de-aged
know,
to
but
the
that's
size.
like that's like weird, isn't it? That's like,
Hmm. But maybe it came down to the way you worded the wish, though.
and also most notably,
Shenron is
Boo
like that.
does not become Kid Boo. Does not become Boo does
Yeah,
not
wait.
revert to any sort of younger version of himself. He is literally
Well,
just
wait. He
shrunken
was
down.
technically excluded from the wish because how he was
No,
involved with the fight with the. Well, he
he's
was
there.
involved with
He's
the
there.
fight with
He's
himself,
shrunken
though.
down. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He
but
was
he was.
directly involved.
Yeah,
He was getting his ass
exactly.
beat. He
He
was getting
did.
his he was more involved than fucking Hercule was. He was getting
Oh,
rocked. He was getting rocked like he had never been before. Boo didn't
nah,
know he could get his ass beat like that.
nah. Like it really took it a fight against another Boo for really realize, man. Like, damn.
But then
But
episode 2 moves a lot faster because they do get the plot going pretty quick after you
mm-hmm.
get like the setting set with the characters.
Yes,
Because
yes.
you fast forward a little bit, they go up to Kami's lookout, figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Dende gets kidnapped, and they get the whole rundown about that. Which I'm still we at the point we're at in this story. I don't know. I don't. What's the episode count? How many have there been?
12.
We're up to 12. We still don't know why they took Dende specifically, other than that
We have
Namekians are valuable. That's all we've been given.
speculation that
That's all.
yeah, that he wants to
There's got to be some more specific reason we're
well,
not
the
privy to.
speculation, and I think Neva may have said something, or Piccolo had stated something in their conversation that's like later on, but like essentially Goma wants to raise Dende to be his own personal Namekian to create another set of Demon Realm Dragon Balls for himself personally.
Brother. Oh, brother.
Right,
Man,
right.
this fucking guy. I can't wait for Goku to break his jaw.
Exactly.
Anyway, he trying to put Dende in chains. Free Dende. Free.
Free my nigga Dende. Yep.
They trying to put these Namekians back in chains. I'm not here for it.
Man, and look, if Gohan found out,
Go. Oh, he's lucky Gohan was at work.
because bro,
Because
nah,
this is Gohan right after the Buu saga. He's got the power level.
exactly. And the thing is, technically, right now, he should still be. It's fresh after Buu Saga as this is. He should still technically be the strongest non-fused warrior.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Anyway,
it's like
though,
that's probably why he's not in the series. He's a little too
he'd
strong.
be a problem.
Hmm.
Fast forward to episode 3, and we have officially entered the demon world.
Yes, yes. Which episode 3 is called Daima. Uh, fittingly.
Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't that just translate to Dragon Ball Daemon or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so. It's like demon,
Mm-hmm.
um, evil, something like that. Yeah.
Dragon Ball Evil. But it's a very upbeat series.
No, it really
It's very
is.
positive.
The way that it really does just
Good
remind
vibes
you
all
of
around.
OG Dragon Ball and like a lot of
Well,
different
that's a
like
bit of like the
going
setup
around
that
and
they give you.
gathering the
Well,
game.
it's actually like it's funny because the GT parallels don't stop at just him being turned into a kid because they stick him with a young girl who's like a mechanic type
Mm-hmm.
and an older dude who's able to fight alongside him. That's just Pan and Trunks again. That's just it's just
No,
the
no,
GT
for
setup
real.
again.
No, for
It's
real.
just Supreme Kai
But
happens to be there.
um
Supreme Kai's your Giru, I guess. Your Giru.
he's got this useful information. But like in this episode, we do find out that he's a Glen. And so this must be when we get the slight story of how they're born or whatever the
Which
case like
brand
that.
new term that never existed before this series. We're gonna be hearing Glend in the
Well,
Dragon Ball fandom for fucking ever,
I
and we
think
never heard that
people
before.
people in the fandom knew about it because that is still the instead of being born from
We knew about the
the
origin, but the term Glend, never heard that in my life.
even I feel like people were using it right before the episode came out still. That and I don't know. I could be mistaking it, but I am glad that like the trees are actually named after the species, or I guess the species after the tree that they come from in this case,
Hmm.
and things of that. Like I do like how the lore was kind of changed in a way to I I don't know, kind of adapt to like what's going on
Oh
and
no, I
whatnot.
like
Like,
having an explanation for it in canon
hmm,
because other than like interviews and stuff that we've had, they've never covered that territory of where Ukais come from before.
right.
And it also makes it interesting when you think about a character like Zamasu.
Because
Like
exactly,
boy, talk about picking a bad apple.
a
Like
bad seed all the way. Because
a
I'm like, there's
literal
no
bad
way,
seed.
there's no way that like he's not Glenned as well. All of the Kais are, you know? So it's like really thinking about that. All of those Kais anyway. You know what I mean? Because like King
A
Kai is
Kai who is
obviously
on
not a
actual demon time. Zamasu. You see, I think Zamasu is so underrated. He's one of my favorite Dragon Ball villains ever.
Nah, he was interesting as fuck. And then like the way
He
that that arc
accomplished more than like
unfolded,
any other Dragon Ball villain.
it was great. That was poetic. That arc really was. Um, but nah, moving forward from the episode, I mean, not
Basically,
too
all that
much really
happens is they
happens
go
here.
into the demon realm. He gets in a bar fight. Somebody steals their plane. It's a very like the story just started kind of episode. You
Yeah,
know,
and there's not really much action here. We don't really see
this
more
is what I
action
mean.
until
This is
like
what I
the
mean by the
next
beginning is
episode.
really exciting, and then it slows down for a while. I
Yeah,
feel like it's a missed opportunity making everybody else wait to go in with Goku because you're stuck with just Goku and the new characters for like a stretch of several episodes
which does
before like
get very
Vegeta, Piccolo,
interesting
and all of them show up.
because I think if everyone was there, it would have been like, well, one, they can't all fit into the ships anyway, so it's like
Then write them to
at
have a
that
bigger
point,
ship. Write them.
well, we end up getting a slightly bigger ship and getting rid of some luggage, but like it all comes into play because I mean, Gloria, like you know what I mean. The ships they came in only to grab a couple of people obviously ain't gonna fit more than what double what we planned. You know what I mean? So like that made sense. You know, all of these things, and then to write it to where they can eventually all travel together.
Yeah.
It has to kind of come together still and make some sort of sense, even though it's like a fantasy.
So now in
You know.
episode 4, what happens in episode 4?
So in episode 4, it is called Chatty. So I'm assuming that is when we meet. Okay, no, there's a lot of talk in town. Comes a fugitive. All right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
this
this
is
is
the
after
episode
they
where
get
okay,
the after they
okay.
found out their shit was stolen or whatever because of the bar fight. So then they fight some more, and he finds out about the Tamagami. There's talks about
he
that. That's
goes
why it's
into
called
the
Chatties because
he
all the
goes into the town
chattiness in the
and
town. Yeah.
the people in the town have the collars and are
Mm-hmm.
being abused by like by Goma's guards or
Yep. Yep.
whatever. Yeah.
And then that's
My big
we meet
takeaway on
Pansy
this
at the end of the episode,
yeah.
which I think the next episode is actually her titled with
My
her
big
name.
takeaway on that episode was at this point I started feeling like it was a Dragon Quest show because it has a very medieval vibe with like the abused peasants and the royal guards and
Mm,
Goku comes in like a Robin Hood figure and saves these people from the evil king's guard.
nice. I definitely see
It
that.
feels a lot more like a Dragon Quest thing than a Dragon Ball thing. You know, I think Toriyama got a wire crossed there. But
But
I enjoyed it though. Like I thought it
it,
was cool seeing Goku in that kind of capacity. It's something he hasn't done since the early days of Dragon Ball.
and
He
it's
doesn't
also
interact
like
with regular civilians that much at all
really at
past the
all.
Z era.
Really. And so it's like we get to see that and we see him kind of slowly coming into his smaller body too. So like I find that kind of interesting as well because like if you play like Sparking Zero and you pre-ordered and you have Mini Daima, you notice you don't shoot a single blast of key and it's like
And he
you don't
flies
it
slow as
takes a
hell.
minute. It
He
takes a minute
flies
even
so
in the show
slow as
before
hell.
you see him shoot a key blast. He's becoming more accustomed to the power pole, things of that
Hmm.
nature. So it takes a minute. And even in this episode, I still think you haven't seen him shoot a key like that. I think it's still not even
Yeah.
until an episode or more
Well, for the record,
that he
the
doesn't
people
need to
he's been
defeat.
fighting, he does not
He
need to
doesn't
shoot a key
need
blast. He does
anything
not.
exactly. So it's
Exactly.
like it fits for that early taste of like what's to
He's
come.
fighting straight bums for like the first 7 episodes of the show.
And that's what helps also to put in the terms too. Like a lot of these people, they wouldn't dare try to challenge a Tamagami, you
Yeah.
know. And the fact that we know
Once we get
Deborah
to the
couldn't
episode
beat
with the
it,
Tamagami, I want to talk a little bit about
a
that.
bit
But
more about the
how much
Tamagamis.
next
We
episode would
know
be the
of
one
them
where
at
we
this point, but
next
like,
episode would be the one where we really meet Pansy. And I
yes,
think
yes,
that now at this point
or
is
we
a
know
good
more
time to
about her.
talk a little bit about her and a
Okay,
little bit about Glorio.
all right.
Because these
So
two are the big new characters that are being pushed and shown and promoted on all the promotional materials. These are, other than Goku, these are basically your two main characters, right?
right,
And Pansy is the kind of character that we've had before. Pansy sort of has similar character quirks to Bulma or to like Pan.
mm,
She's a female who's kind
yeah,
of
I
a
could definitely see like the
non-combatant but
pan.
has utility, has an attitude. You know what I mean? It's a
Mm.
typical Toriyama sort of character. Glorio though, Glorio's kind of
Glorio
a new
is
beast. Like I don't know if we've had a guy like Glorio
he
where it's
seems
like
kind of like a snake. Well,
where you can't get a read on him. Like it usually Dragon
right.
Ball is very straightforward with the way that it presents characters. When Vegeta is introduced sitting on a corpse eating a dude that he just killed, you are not confused about where this dude's morality lies. When
At all.
Tien is introduced and he knocks Yamcha out and breaks his leg for no reason, you're not confused about the kind of dude he's supposed to be. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But Glorio, he really is because it's like it seems like at the end of the day, he does like the people he's traveling with.
Yeah, it's
Even
not like
though he
he's
seems like
tolerating
he's
them.
going to
He
like
clearly has a
double
relationship with
cross
Pansy where he's
everyone.
like they're fist bumping each other and stuff. It's like big bro little sis type shit.
So like it's kind of just weird that it feels as if he's going against his king's wishes.
My take on it is that he has some ulterior motive that we don't fully understand yet.
Right, that's
And
definitely aligned with his
he is
sister.
essentially trying to play both sides to wait to see who comes out on top so that he makes sure he comes out on top no matter who wins. He's working with Goma and with Pansy's father, two sides that are diametrically opposed.
But he's also working with Arinzu, who is
Exactly,
snaking Goma.
he's playing every side.
Right. So like what?
Arinsu's plan is like in the mud. Like I don't know what she's gonna do at this point, but
Right, because like what does she want the Dragon Balls for?
yeah, that's the thing is we have a lot of
We don't
unanswered questions
really
where we're
even
at.
know.
We have a lot of unanswered questions where we're at, given that
And this is supposed
we
to be
don't
a
know what
20 episode
Arinsu's deal
series.
is. We don't know what Glorio's deal is. We don't really know what Goma's deal is. We know that he wants the evil eye, and we know that
Right.
he saw Goku in them as a threat to him, but we don't know what his long term idea is.
At all,
He's
really.
just kind of concerned with like eliminating threats to him, but
And
he's
right
not.
now the only reason he's a threat for Goku and gang is
He
to,
brought them
he has
into it. Like,
he has
he
Dende.
could have left them alone. He could have left.
Like he turned them into
Like
kids and
Goma
got
kind of
Dende.
set himself up, so I'm not convinced that Goma is like the ultimate bad guy here.
That it's probably going to be Arinzu in some way, shape, or
Arinsu
form.
comes off like she's not a threat either because all of her plans
Not
with Ku
yet.
and Do have been like comical, like they haven't gone anywhere productive.
Well, we'll talk, I guess, more about
We got to get into that later.
right. So it's like it is really interesting because like I feel like once we get a little bit more perspective on like what Arenzo is doing, or even like if more of those like that leak image comes to fruition,
Hmm.
then it's like I think our eyes will be a little bit we'll see a little bit more of the picture more clearly, a little bit more of it will be less fuzzy,
Yeah,
something of that nature. Um, just because the way that everyone is playing Goma, he's obviously not our final threat.
he's getting played by like
But
four different
the way
sides.
that the most recent episode ends is okay, what's his plan now? You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
which we'll get to, but and then at the same time, like there's not much more to say than that.
Yeah,
It's
but
just they end us on the cliffhanger of what.
But anyway,
What's he about to do?
we get introduced to Pansy properly. We learn that
Hmm.
she's a princess. We meet her dad. He offers Goku her hand in marriage, and he says, "No thanks, I'm married. I love my wife."
And they're surprised that
Ah.
this little kid is like in his 30s, 40s, whatever. And they're like, how the hell? But she's like
Which
a
I don't
few
know why
hundred
that's shocking to her because she's like fucking hundreds of years old. Like, who are
and
you to
is
talk?
still just so tiny. Tiny
That
little thing.
Toriyama's weird for that. Why you making an old lady a little girl like that? That's confusing.
Because they age slow as hell. You know, the Supreme Kai of Time, bro. She's like tiny and kind of young, but she's thousands
Hey,
of
but
years old. Like,
stop that. All right, but like, quit doing that. Quit doing that.
so tiny.
That's weird.
Um, but yeah, so this is the episode where we actually get the origins of the Glens. Where they explain like the Glen tree and how there's five of them.
Explain Shin's real name.
Yes, which
Nahare?
yeah,
Am I
yeah, I
saying
want
that
to
right?
say, yeah, Nahare. Yes.
Nahare, which weird retcon. Weird retcon because he's been Shin since the fucking 90s.
But I guess
He's
it
been
makes sense that that would be more so of a presented name, kind of like as we meet him as a world tournament guest
Yeah,
participant,
yeah, and I
and
guess people
not
just called him Supreme Kai after that, but
after realizing who he was. So obviously he wasn't going to go in with the name Supreme
Nahare,
Kai. And then Nahare probably just sounds too alien in a way that wasn't going to come from their
I
planet.
guess.
So like
I
Shin
guess.
seemed to fit, like Piccolo doing Ma Jr. instead of coming right out, hey guys, I'm Piccolo.
Blah, blah. I'm gonna blow you up. Ah, I'm gonna blow
But
you.
like, you know what I mean? So I think
Frankly,
it
the
fits
people
like
of Earth
that.
don't even remember who the fuck Piccolo is. So don't
Not
even
at that
really.
point, but like when he first entered the 23rd World Tournament, oh, they definitely
Let
would have
me
known.
just. Okay, slight tangent. Dragon Ball is like my favorite franchise in the world.
Hmm.
I tolerate a lot of dumb shit from it. But the thing that bothers me the absolute most is how the people of Earth don't remember any of the bad shit that has happened to them. They don't remember
When
King Piccolo blowing up a city. They don't remember the Saiyans blowing up a city.
I want to
They
say
don't remember like how the Red Ribbon Army like just disappeared one day. Like no one thought that was weird. How the Red Ribbon Army just fucking vanished one day and nobody had any record of what the fuck happened.
that, no, I mean, mhm, those are valid. Those are valid. But I do want to say in like instances where like Cell, um,
Nobody remembers the past world tournaments. Nobody has like a video recording of
of
Goku fighting
Goku,
Tien or
right?
anything.
So
Like,
it's like,
of,
because it's not like the Dragon Balls were used to fix or like wipe memory
yeah,
every
nobody
time
wiped
after
their
something
memory
was
of
done.
Jackie Chun. Like,
Right.
nobody.
So, I don't know, man. I guess they're fucking everyday
Like, if you
lives.
follow sports, you can follow the track of who the champion is in a fucking fighting league to the beginning. If
Maybe
you had a
that.
record of who Goku is, why would you think Hercule is hot shit? Why would you?
I mean, honestly, if you saw this little guy as a kid turn into a big ass
That's what I'm
ape
saying.
and
Not
go
only
ape shit,
Not only that, but they all buy that he killed Cell, but like nobody asks Hercule like where's the body. So they all believe that Hercule like punched this man so hard that he atomized. Like what do they think he
but
did?
it's all light tricks to him. So
Yeah,
what's
what
the
do they think
but
he did? What do they think he did to completely annihilate
he said, "Oh
a
no, I'll
creature
just
that
leave the.
destroyed the whole world military? A
I'm just
creature
gonna leave your planet in peace, Hercule. You have won." Like, I guess
I
that's what
don't
they think
what
happened.
was his story? What did he tell people? What did
Lordy, I would love to know that. I feel like there was this time I saw a video
he
of
Hercule's book would be a bestseller, man. New
they would
York
eat that
Times
shit up.
bestseller. Oh
They
my
would eat it
god.
up. They like, oh man.
And then I hit him with a dynamite kick and he exploded and was gone forever. And then they're so dumb in the fucking Dragon Ball world that that's what they
They would
actually
believe
believe.
it.
That's what they actually believe
And
happened.
boom, he was gone like dynamite.
That's what I'm saying. Like what did they think when
Oh
Frieza pulled up?
man.
What did the news say when a fucking spaceship pulled up like a couple miles from a city and like 15 martial artists pulled up and fought a whole alien army. And then a dude showed up and became God and beat the shit out of that main alien.
Man, look, I wish there needs to be witnesses.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
like someone just like out
There's got to
fucking
be a hiker with a
fishing.
camcorder
Somebody
somewhere.
fishing nearby and he says, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
Like,
like we need that
matter of
footage. We need
fact,
that
in
POV.
Superhero, they say they fucking had a recording of Trunks killing Frieza. So we know that there's recordings of this shit. So, like, they had the whole first half of the Cell games on live TV. They had
That is fucking fact. Fucking Jiro had spy cams
what
following.
is with the
Like,
short-term
can
memory
we get
loss
the
on the fucking
spy?
population of Earth? It's
Can we get the
crazy.
spy cam view of the shit that was going on in those fights? That angle would probably look badass.
Great Saiyaman is fighting crime in the city every other day, and y'all don't believe that there's people with superpowers? Like, y'all, you literally have a superhero.
He
Like,
flies.
he fucking flies and stops bullets with his fingers.
You think this man is not super? Oh man.
Bro, he shoots blasts out of his hands. You've seen it. You've seen him do it.
But
But
no.
anyway, that was my
Um,
tangent. The people of Earth are fucking dumb, and I'm glad they're not in Daima.
nah. But so after that, we got the episode Lightning. And what happens in that is aside from the Glens being their origins, and then Glorio is also revealed with who he is, and we also get to kind of figure out that he's kind of in cahoots with Lorenzo.
Now, this is where the
But
show actually starts getting a little bit more interesting. It took until episode
because
7, but
this
this
is
is where the
six,
story really starts at
six.
6.
Because the episode, this is where they have Goku and Glorio have their little match, and we get to see.
That is the first great fight in this show.
Yes,
Is Goku
yes.
styling
It's
on Glorio.
called Lightning because of his lightning styled magic attacks, right? And man,
little whip.
look. That shit. Hey, look, okay, look. If he wasn't completely fucking outclassed by Goku, Glorio is cool as fuck. All right,
Listen,
he looks,
man,
bro. He kicks some ass.
where do we think Glorio falls in like power scale?
I don't think he can
Because
beat a Tamagami.
forget about the Tamagami. Can he fight like Android 19? Can he fight like Deborah? Can he
No,
fight like
no. See, no.
Can he fight Frieza? Can he fight Frieza?
Well, see, look. If
He lost immediately when Goku went Super Saiyan, so I'm not
and he
sure
didn't
he's
have to
even
do
taking
anything.
Frieza.
Exactly.
I'm not sure he's even
now,
taking
yes,
Frieza.
this is a post Boo arc Super Saiyan Goku,
who's
but
also
still,
shrunken down and nerfed, though. So how does it balance out?
But still, I don't think that even this nerf Super Saiyan Goku is going to struggle, or Super Saiyan 2 Goku is going to struggle against Deborah.
I don't know.
Think about it.
I don't know.
As soon as the moment he is
Here's the
used to
thing.
his body, he's not getting taken down by Deborah.
How much stronger
Neither
is
him or Vegeta
how much
thought
stronger
Deborah
is
was
Buu
shit.
Saga Goku than like Cell Games Gohan? Like if they're both Super Saiyan,
They
2,
both
what's
surpassed. They both surpassed him. That was even acknowledged by Vegeta himself when all Goku did was flash Super Saiyan 2 to beat Yukon.
Okay, well that's my point though. Is like, are
That
we
they
sure?
surpassed Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's level, as that was even the
But if
goal
we're
for
taking
Vegeta during
okay,
that whole
but follow
7
me,
years, was to
follow me
surpass
though. But
that
if we're
level.
taking Buu Saga Goku and then nerfing him with this shrinking shit, he probably evens out to about Super Saiyan 2 Gohan level, right?
I mean, I guess we could say that, but I still don't see him struggling. Like, quite frankly, not against a Deborah. If he was still able to take the Tamagami,
I guess.
like you
So
have to think about it like that, and it was
yeah,
still
Deborah's
overall a warm up fight for him.
so that's
He
how
didn't
you
have
have
to
to
bust
scale.
out Super
So you
Saiyan
have
3.
to scale
He
the
only went to
Tamagami to
Super
Deborah.
Saiyan 2,
Okay,
and
so
he
you
still didn't struggle.
okay, so you have to scale the Tamagami to Deborah. Deborah is
You
relative
know,
to Perfect Cell.
you scale them higher because he couldn't beat it,
Okay.
and
So
that
that
was
means
before the Deborah that we see in
so that
Z.
so that means then that Deborah is compared directly to Perfect Cell, okay? Perfect Cell is below Super Saiyan 2 Team Gohan, who is below Super Saiyan 2 Buu Saga Goku.
And Vegeta.
Okay? And Vegeta.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys are nerfed, but Goku with just Super Saiyan is able to beat the first Tamagami. Okay?
He flashed Super Saiyan 2 from what it seems like.
So that
Multiple
means
times,
that the
though.
nerfed Goku from Daima has to be stronger than everyone at the Cell games. Has to be stronger than Teen Gohan, all of them.
Has to be. Has to be.
So he didn't get nerfed
And
at
he
all. What was the
didn't,
fucking point of shrinking him?
because all he has to do is get used to his body. That was the only
Goma's a
nerfing.
fucking idiot. That's my point. Is what
That's the only
you
nerfing.
wish for him to have no arms and legs. Wish for him to have like. Wish for him to
That's
get sick and die.
literally it.
Wish for him to have a heart disease. Wish for him. Like
so
there's so
we
many
skipped
more
ahead
options.
because actually, the collars come back into play more here as they're being used. Oh no! We didn't skip ahead. We didn't skip ahead at all.
This is where
She
Pansy gets her
tracked
collar off.
because of the collar.
Yeah.
And so they know where the gang is and everything like that.
Goku has to do a little hiding routine.
All sorts of, which was pretty cool. It was it had its like comedic value, but it was like because of Pansy not knowing what the hell was going on and shit like that, and it looking like another form of magic. All of this to her, it's just like, this is magic, bro. Like, what do you mean?
I find it funny that she has a better understanding of it than like Glorio does.
Who's just so surprised at what's
Glorio
happening.
just
But I
is
think
not.
it's just because of them being in their ways, at the same time, and like kind of
Glorio's
being
more
like
stubborn than she is.
yeah, where she seems to have like this just open view, even though things aren't. She's a fucking princess and has a collar.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
That tells you a lot about how
lot.
the demon realm is at this point.
A lot. But
which I think it's so interesting that they say, yeah, Deborah wasn't that bad. Which is like, damn, Deborah is such a lightweight.
So
Like, it's so
what the
funny
hell?
because no one at any point in the entire franchise has ever really taken Deborah seriously. That's the funny thing.
Well, I
to
guess
me.
except Gohan, because he was out of training.
Well,
But
but that's the thing,
also
is the
hammers
fact that
point
Gohan's having
that
trouble with
Goku
him.
and Vegeta said,
They're both, even
Like, come
Goku's
on.
sitting there like, ah, God, Jesus.
come on, man.
I thought you
Gohan,
had
I thought
this.
you had this. What's going
You're
on?
embarrassing me in front of Supreme Kai. Gohan, I told them you were good at fighting. Go on. It's
We saved you for last and everything.
a disappointed father. It's all right, son.
Like,
It's all right.
and that's you know what I mean? Deborah and Gohan, untrained at Super Saiyan 2, were even fight.
Mm-hmm.
But both Goku and Vegeta would have cleared Deborah pretty fucking easily. That's what I mean?
To think about. And we have, how much time has gone by since the end of the Buu saga? Is this immediately after the end of the Buu saga?
From what it seems to be,
Because there's only
is that
6 months between end of Buu saga and beginning of Super. There's only like 6 months there.
I think that got retconned to about a year, or it was either the retcon or the 1 year got retconned to
This
6 months.
timeline is so fucked
Right.
up. It's like the X-Men movies. This fucking
So,
timeline.
It's 6
This
months
fucking-
or a year, and then that means Daima is literally halfway in between whichever one it is. So it's either 3 months or 6 months.
Sweet Jesus.
About that much time, because like they freshly,
Zeno Almighty.
wiped the world of Boo's memory and everything like that once Daima's starting and things of that nature. That's still fresh, and Boo being around and things of that nature is more, and as a good guy, it's still kind of fresh. So like that's also what lets you know it has to be still very quickly. You know what I mean? So it's pretty fitting. I mean, I would imagine. Hopefully, we'll find out an answer to it later on if Goku's actually been trying to train and hone Super Saiyan 3. Because as we see, it was a Goku transformation for him at the beginning of Super.
And in
Even though
Battle
it
of Gods, he had no problem with it.
Right, exactly. Which, as we just stated, is not much further along than that. So in this time frame, since the Boo thing, spoiler from before we get ahead to that episode, but Vegeta has been working with that shit. So like, that's all I'll say for now. But it's like when we see Goku as a Super Saiyan 3, bro. When we see Goku as a Super Saiyan 3, is that gonna wear him out, or is he gonna seem like he's been working with it over this time period too? Now him against Beerus wasn't a fair comparison because it only took 2 blows to just knock him the fuck out.
Beerus though, like
Right.
That's Beerus.
But someone down here, we've seen him in Super Saiyan 2. Is someone going to push him to Super Saiyan 3 and us get to see that? And then, speaking of, which we got introduced to the bugs way earlier on, but he has the fusion bugs too.
You see, yeah, I've been forgetting about the fusion bugs. We're basically guaranteed to get mini Gogeta. Or
because-
whoever the hell this guy
because
is.
this will be fused in a whole new, brand new way. It's
Bruh.
very similar
Oh,
to
that's gonna be
Gogeta
crazy.
because, well, no, I guess Vegito because of using two items to bring someone together. But like, this is gonna be someone totally different. Like, bruh, we're gonna get a brand new fucking Goku and Vegeta fusion. Some people think it's a three-way fusion, but like that's not how that translated to me. All the people that think there's a
Moment of
three-person fusion.
moment of silence in respect to Toriyama. There we go.
Hmm,
But
just
moving on,
cooked.
this is kind of one of the issues I have with the pacing. This entire episode, though,
Hmm.
is basically they get tracked by some guards, they get away from the guards, she gets her collar off. That's like the whole
But
episode. That's like the
no, this is also the actual start of the fight with Goku versus the
well,
Tamagami.
yeah, but like
And
it's
the rest
just
of
the
the
start
game,
of it.
the
It's
rest of
just the
but
start.
it's still kind of interesting. But like, yeah, but the rest of the gang also finally arrive into the demon realm as well. So like once we know for a fact that they are finally there, it's like okay, cool. Now they're finally gonna end up meeting up at some point. Which I mean, that was kind of funny. What does happen the first time they meet up is, but like but the next episode, episode 8, is actually called Tamagami because it's more
Okay.
focused on that fight.
Now let's get into these guys a little bit, okay?
All right.
What we understand about what the Tamagami are exactly is that Neva, who is the ancient Namekian who lives in the demon realm who helped to kidnap Dende,
Mm,
created these three Tamagami, these essentially like demon guardian warriors who protect the Dragon Balls of the demon realm. That's what they are, okay? Which
mm.
means this
So that not
Namekian,
just anyone
which
can
means
get their
this
hands on.
Namekian can just spawn people who are noticeably stronger than Deborah, who was arguably stronger than Super Perfect Cell. Who
Hmm. And then also
that's kind
we
of
do get a little
crazy.
bit more too
That's
is that these could possibly, now we're like in territory where it's like okay, are these the original Dragon Balls, which is like they kind of have to be, right? Because the
Dragon
Super
Ball Super
Dragon Balls,
stated point blank that the Super Dragon Balls were the original Dragon Balls, so that would be a retcon.
right? Because the Super Dragon Balls exist throughout the multi
The Super
universes,
Dragon Balls were created by the Dragon God Zalama, who still to this day has not appeared in any canon piece of Dragon Ball content.
but but
Just want to throw that out there. How the
right,
fuck does Zalama fit into any of this?
right. So it's like, so how do this would be a new or original Dragon Balls because they were made before there were universes for Super Dragon Balls to even be at, like they have to be the new original Dragon Balls. We have met the Namekian that made the original Dragon Balls. Isn't
I don't
that
believe that.
wild?
I don't believe that.
You think that maybe he was inspired by something?
No, yeah,
Or oh, okay, wait, wait,
I
wait,
think
wait.
Zalama is still part of this. I don't think that it's been
Actually, wait.
retconned out of
Yeah, yeah.
existence.
Actually, yeah. Maybe it hasn't because
Zala
maybe
No,
he
no, no,
didn't make
because
them
in
until
Dragon Ball
after the
Super,
universes
in
were
Dragon Ball
made to
Super,
begin with.
when they
Yeah,
talk to the all-knowing guy, what's
the
his fucking name?
Namekians were
Hold on,
inspired
hold on.
by
Hold
the
on,
super.
follow me. In
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Super, when they talk to the all-knowing dude, I can't remember his fucking name. What
I
was
can't
his name?
remember his damn name either, but he fucking wants to
But
give information for kisses.
he literally
That guy,
yes,
the
it's
big
fucking
face.
hilarious. But he name drops Zalama directly. He says that the Super Dragon Balls were created by the Dragon God Zalama and that the Namekians based their Dragon Balls on
on
those.
on that, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So if the Namekians come from
So
the
okay,
demon
so wait,
realm,
wait, wait.
those must be the original demon Dragon Balls, but not the original Dragon Balls in general. Those are just the first ones made by lesser
By a
beings.
Namekian,
By a Namekian, yes.
right? So that means they're the first Namekian Dragon Balls,
There you go.
which means they're probably the second set in existence. Because that means they had to have been made after that Majin made the
Which
rest of
means
the
the Earth
universes,
Dragon Balls,
and then at some point
the
in
Earth Dragon
time,
Balls are like
the
the fifth ones that were made because there's the Super Dragon Balls, then the Demon
Demon
Realm
Realm
Dragon Balls, then the Namekian Dragon Balls, Tarumbo's Dragon Balls from the Granola art,
were
and
probably
then
had to have been made
and then the
before.
Earth Dragon
Yeah.
Balls. That. There's a lot of layers to this shit,
The
and
very
honestly,
first set of Dragon Balls we are introduced to were probably the fifth set made.
I'm gonna have to backtrack to
There's
this.
probably a sixth set of universe Dragon Balls. They have
I'm gonna
Namekians for
have to
sure.
backtrack to this once
Any
we
other
get.
universe could have Namekians.
I'm gonna have to backtrack to this when we get to the end of the episode list here, but we're gonna have to talk about the god hierarchy too,
Mm-hmm.
because that shit is getting very complex.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
moving
yeah,
on,
nah. In this Tamagami episode, we also get oh yeah. We
a
find out
legendary fight.
that Arenzu's plan is to become the king of the demon realm herself, and that we find out the origins of Majin Buu. So we also meet the Majin Witch that we had discussed too.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we're getting the A plot B plot thing going on, where A plot is the fight with the Tamagami, and the B plot is
The
finding
birth of
out some
Majin
sort of
Ku,
yes, yes.
aka the swellest dude in the fucking Dragon Ball universe.
Yeah.
He's just a swell guy. He's just nice. He's just pleasant.
He really is, man. Like I
He's
hope
like, morning neighbor. He's that kind of guy. He's that.
Oh man. So yeah, so we find ourselves at episode what now? Like 8, 9?
I am not sure.
It's titled Thieves. Yes, this is episode 9. Uh where yes, we meet Ku, and we find out that
He
he's
is
not a
not
great
exactly
fighter.
like his cousin. He's not exactly
No,
like his cousin
he
Kid Buu.
describes him as Boo, or
Kid Buu, yeah.
yeah, I guess we'll call Boo a cousin.
He's
Yeah.
his cousin. That's what I'll go with. Boo is his brother, but Boo is
Who's his
just
brother?
Boo is his big cuz. Boo is his big cuz who did time in jail. In jail.
Man, they had to
Jail
lock him
being the
away for a
cocoon that
bit.
Bibbidi put him in.
Like, hey, you don't behave, bro.
He did time in the pen.
Oh man. So the groups finally meet up, and we got Goku and Vegeta, and it's short lived because they can't all travel together, and they're like, huh, well, yeah, we're doing this adventure, so catch up with us.
Yeah. So this to me is really where the plot starts getting good, starts escalating, because now you've got Arinsu's plot in full motion.
Mm,
You're starting to get big lore dumps about the person who created Majin Buu and shit.
we see Vegeta in action.
Vegeta's in action and he's getting ready to enter the story full time. And we have the best fight in the show up to this point. So up to this point, Tamagami is the best episode in the show.
Yes, yes.
Up
But
to this point,
Tamagami
for
number
sure.
3. And apparently the way these Tamagamis work too is Tamagami 3 is the weakest, Tamagami 2 is stronger, and then Tamagami 1 is even stronger.
Which I have no idea what the strength disparity is supposed to be, because they all
Right.
seem basically relative.
I mean, you would think.
2 is definitely stronger because Vegeta had to go to a higher form to
Right.
beat it.
And then it was
but
also after a boost. So then it's like, how relative is 2 to
I think
1
the only
after
reason
the boost?
Vegeta had to do that was because that Kraken was fucking with him.
That too.
I think if it was just 1v1,
and he
he
got
would have been
boosted.
fine.
Yeah. It would have been a little bit too easy for him if he, yeah. So, nah, like, oh man, that was such a good fight. Seeing Vegeta, oh, well, we gonna get there here very soon. But yeah, no. So it's like things happen. Things like you said definitely are picking up at this point, because like now we're getting kind of back to back fights. Once Majin Ku was introduced, we find out that Arenzu test fighting. The
Mhm.
first Tamagami. That
And
doesn't
here's
go
the thing.
well at
Here's the
all.
thing about it. Okay, here's the thing about it. I think Majin Ku got set up because she immediately sent him to fight the strongest Tamagami for one in the first fight that he's ever had in his life.
Mhm.
He's not. He's not Kid Buu. He's not built like that. Okay.
And the thing is, he even admitted beforehand. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not much for fighting."
Yeah, like she set him. She set him up. You gotta let
And
him get a
still
fucking
sent
warm up
him
in
in
first.
there.
Send him to fight Tamagami 2 or 3. Like, why are you sending him to fight the first one?
So now I need you to be able to conquer a Dragon Ball. That's
Nah,
otherwise you're
man.
super useless to me. But I can shop. I'm good at karaoke.
Yeah, nah.
He
let
really
him
does seem like a cool
You
fella.
gotta let him absorb somebody. Let him absorb a dog so he can have it in him. Nah, but I love Majin Ku though. He is so chill.
He
I,
really
I
is.
said I want a sitcom with him and Monaka delivering packages together throughout the universe.
And Jocko comes around along every now and then to check on him.
Right.
Oh
Jocko
shit.
Jocko's like the recurring character we talk to, like the neighbor from Home Improvement or something.
Type shit.
Mm.
Oh man. No, that'd go pretty hard.
But next
Um,
episode,
let's
I
see.
believe, is named Ocean.
Yes, so in ocean, we get to meet what lives in the ocean, the
Mm,
Kraken.
The Kraken.
Man. But as far as fights go, it's just Ku versus the Tamagami. We get the full fledged of that, and then Goku versus some of the soldiers, and also again the Kraken. And he once he meets up with Vegeta, he says something of note that is we ain't strong enough for that right now.
Hmm.
And
Another weird power scaling thing, because it's like you would think that if they just went Super Saiyan 2 and just blasted it in the back of the throat, that would kill it.
dude, at least enough to where like that was enough for Vegeta. All he had to do was like a fucking
Yeah.
explosive wave, and he
Y'all are
got him
still
fuck up
strong
out of
enough.
there.
Y'all are definitely still strong enough to blow up a planet, but you can't kill a Kraken. Like, anyway, anyway.
Anyway, so
But
next we have the episode.
I think the more important thing in this episode though is
Mhm.
that this is where you start getting some of that Namekian lore we've been talking
Yeah,
about.
true,
This is
true.
where Piccolo has his conversation with Neva
Mhm.
and hears that Namekians are not supposed to use their powers for conflict, and
That scene where
man,
everyone's
be for
looking at
real.
him.
He's like, man, he's like,
Oh, that was so funny. He's like,
oh, y'all ain't had a problem with it when I was fighting 17 though. Y'all let me do that. Y'all let me fight Raditz though. Y'all let me fight Nappa though.
I see how it is.
You see me in every movie.
So you see me in every movie. I pull up.
Every single one. I even fought Broly.
Before Vegeta stepped in.
Yeah, I wasn't scared. Vegeta was scared. I wasn't scared.
Oh
I
shit.
fought Bojack. Dr. Wheelo possessed me because he knew I was raw. 'Cause he...
So he knew I was wrong. But nah, Daima has definitely just been an overall great experience. We get after Ocean and the lore, we get to the next Tamagami
And
in the episode Legend.
okay, this is basically the reason we decided we had to record this pod now, is because Vegeta just
Cleans
went
up.
fucking Super
He
Saiyan
cleans
3.
up.
Guys, Vegeta canonically went Super Saiyan 3.
Mm,
And let me tell you, he rocks that shit better than Goku.
dude.
He has
Yes.
more sauce than Goku in Super Saiyan 3. I never would have believed it.
But he does. He does. And he's got drip. He's got aura. Like,
And he's little. He's small. This isn't even his full aura. This isn't even his full drip.
nah, like at all. So this episode of the next episode kind of going together. I consider them like a part one, part two because
I remember
both of them
people were
is
writing
A and
people
B
were writing eulogies
with
for Vegeta when this episode ended
mm,
because they were like, "Oh, he lost to a Kraken, our goat." No.
literally. But
Everyone
nah,
was ready to say Vegeta's a fraud.
he gets
Everyone was
up out
calling
of
him a
there
fraud.
just like we said with the explosive wave. He's fighting 2-on-1 with a Tamagami that at this point in the fight has been boosted by Neva
And is
and
stronger than the
is
one Goku fought.
pushing him actively towards the water. Um, there each of the Tamagami seem to have like more of a specialty, right? So like that the one that he's facing has a home field advantage in the
He's
water.
using the
He has a
area to his
trident.
advantage.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
So it's like part of the water is gonna be a challenge in the fight, and then the Kraken on top, bruh.
Here's the thing, man. Vegeta
Man,
gets knocked to the bottom of the ocean. That aura starts flaring up. The lightning's coming down. He spreads the sea like Moses with his key.
pushes the Tamagami up with that all
The
the way out
Tama-
of the water like he got hit.
His hair goes up like Beast Gohan. And he's in Super Saiyan 3, and that man
He
tries to
loses the
stab him with the
eyebrow,
trident, and he's hitting him like ding 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 ding. Just
catches that
grabs
shit
that
with the
shit
two.
like a playing card, and then starts beating this man's ass. Like Vegeta has
Bro,
never
he
beat
does this
anyone.
swift ass kick that
Vegeta's had
splits the
some good
ocean,
ass
and
beatings,
it looks
okay?
so beautiful.
He's had some good ass beatings. He beat the shit out of Semi Perfect Cell. beat the shit out of Golden Frieza, beat the shit out of Frost. He's had some good dubs. People don't give him his credit. He's had some
Bro,
good
he was
dubs.
cleaning up on Namek.
On Namek, he put a fist inside of Zarbon and then blasted him from inside his intestines.
He turned Kui into fireworks.
Brother, he hit this old man Namekian in the head like with a hammer fist, like yeah, and caved his skull in like he was on some
Yeah,
WWE insane shit. He was catching
he was
bodies.
He was brutal.
Namek Saga Vegeta was a fucking animal, man.
Nah,
he
for
was that
sure.
guy. That's like peak. That's his peak because he was making power moves that whole fucking
and he
saga.
had something to prove. That whole saga, he still had something to prove
and
too.
When Vegeta kicks somebody's ass, man, he just does it in the most like flashy way. That's the cool thing about Vegeta is when he has the upper hand. Him and Goku both kind of have that where when they have the upper hand, they just get disrespectful.
As fuck.
Like when he got behind the Tamagami at the end of the fight and was just like,
he just holds him.
He was basically just
I
like,
give up.
Come on, man, you don't want this.
Is that right? Is that I can keep going.
Don't make me do it, man.
I can keep
don't
going.
Make me do it.
It's like no.
He was kicking that dude back and forth like it was sparking zero. Like
Bro,
he was literally hitting those combos. Tenkaichi 3 type beat. It was crazy.
Nah.
And that's basically where we're at, is right now. Oh, wait, you know what we didn't talk about at all?
What's that?
Majin Buu. We totally skipped
exactly. So, like, at the same time in these two fights...
A and B plot. And
the B plot for these two episodes. So, while we're watching Vegeta fight and we're on his cliffhanger, we're watching Majin Buu fighting the first Tamagami.
Ku's little bro.
Yeah, right, little bro.
He's got a developmental disorder of some kind. He's not very intelligent.
He's super motivated by chocolate. He's
got a little too much Buu in him. That's fine. We love him anyway.
It's crazy because it's like his fighting style is such a Majin Buu, like good Buu, mixed with Kid Buu, taking advantage of stretching yourself, and also kind of that super Buu thing because he kind of does take advantage of that a little bit in fights too. So it's like a good blend of all of those, and then like, I mean, Ku is like kind of like more a Cyberman than like a Buu essence, you know?
It's a little more than that. Is their like brain and brawn? You know what I mean? Which the end of the other Tamagami fight proves.
Right. Yeah.
Like Ku's strength is not physical. Du's very much is.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
To where it's cakewalk, just like where
which means if Du's beating a Tamagami too,
Dragon Ball Super shit because it would be too easy.
If we're power scaling this, Vegeta seems to have a better handle on his little form than Goku does.
Because the entire time that they were
Vegeta's top of the totem pole right now.
Vegeta was getting used to his body
then
as
Goku,
well.
Then
Not
Goku.
in the same way that Goku was, where Goku was kind of relaxed and chilling and going along with things, and as a fight came up, he kind of would slowly... It would be
Vegeta,
but
then
Vegeta
Goku.
that whole time was on the lookout, training, getting used to how small his body was. He's still not fully used to his body, as he was saying in the fight, but that's all he was doing.
Do we think Vegeta's beating Majin Buu? Because Buu already beat the strongest Tamagami. Is he stronger than Vegeta?
That's the question, and I think that's what's gonna be like.
He beat that Tamagami, but he didn't whip his ass. He won, but it was a fight.
About?
Majin Buu had like an even fight.
No, okay, wait.
Vegeta whooped his Tamagami's ass.
Buu whooped his Tamagami's ass too.
Yeah.
No. Think about it. Because his motivation was that chocolate. He had chocolate when he was very first born, then went to the fight, started the fight. That's his first fight. He's getting used to his body. And the fact that he shoots energy for the first time and it's literally in his own face because he's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Which was funny as hell. But like, you have to keep all of these things in mind. So this is like his first little workout. After he already had chocolate before leaving, right? And how big of that motivator of chocolate was for him. He was losing interest in actually fighting throughout the fight too. Even though he was getting used to himself, he was also losing interest throughout the fight, which is when things got even.
You're right. If he had been motivated the entire fight, if he had been motivated the entire fight, it would have been different.
The moment he got that chocolate bar again, though, it was fucking
I
game
think
over.
I'll eat it now. He literally hit
It was
fucking
game
Koo with
over.
that after the when Koo came back from the store with 2 chocolate bars, and then Do ate his too. That
Oh my
was
god.
literally SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck, right?
You
He took
took
the
my only food.
so that was for me. I guess
Now
that's
I'm
what it,
gonna
he's. I guess that's what it's
starve.
like having a little brother. I've always wanted to share it, a little brother. Like, bro, you were born like 30
It's
minutes
such a
ago.
missed
That shit was so
opportunity that
funny,
Boo
dude.
didn't come to the demon realm with them,
It
because
really
he
was,
should
man.
have met them.
Oh
They
my
should have
god.
came up with some excuse like, "Oh, Boo's got demon essence. He'll be able to help us out in there somehow." You know, you could have
But
came up with an excuse.
something. It would have been fucking great. But
But basically,
man,
that is the plot of Daima up through now.
hmm
Very abridged, like we skipped little bits and tidbits here and there, but that's essentially
right.
what the story has
Like the
been up
Dragon
until
Ball
now.
getting stolen and
And
having
what
to
I
get
like
that back.
about this series compared to
Gag
like the
parts with the
others,
fucking the cow.
oh yeah, there's notable things that separate this series from the other ones that we've gotten, and that GT tried to sort of carve out a niche for itself,
Mhm.
and it sort of failed and defaulted back to like action tropes that had worked for the series before, like villain of the week format.
Right, right.
Dragon Ball Super sort of always leaned into kind of fanficky ideas like evil Goku, more gods,
Which I mean,
female Broly,
it
like
works
shit
out
like
though
that.
because it's like we get those kind of ideas, especially like evil Goku and evil Kai from like
Yeah,
Toyotaro. So it's
but
like good to know that like
but I
he
like
did have that influence, and now he's got the
what I like
torch.
about Daima compared to those though is Daima sort of does what Super should have done a little more, which is it takes the building blocks of the world that we already have
Mm,
and expands on those. You know what I'm saying? It feels like a fun, more low stakes adventure, but there's enough like intrigue going on between all the different plot lines. There's a fucking A, B, and C plot going on in this, and we don't typically have that in Dragon Ball. You know
which
what I
is
mean?
right,
The only
yeah,
other arc that kind of feels like that is the Cell Saga, because that's an arc, the Cell Saga and the
yeah,
Frieza Saga, because
yeah.
those are two arcs where you
Where
have
we're
like different
watching multiple,
factions.
yeah,
This is getting back to that, where we have
hmm
different factions sort of functioning and doing different things, and we don't know which one is going to be the main threat or which one's going to come out on top. And that's sort of what's carrying this show more than just
a
constant
good
action or trying to up the ante all the time.
that and like
It's funny because
comedic moments
we
too.
said earlier that it bothered us when it was announced that it felt like we were backtracking. But
Hmm
through backtracking, through scaling down a little bit, it's given this show a tone that's more unique to itself, to where it's
Yeah, I definitely
justified the
agree.
decision. You know
Hmm
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I respect that, like, at the end, when Toriyama, like, I don't think Toriyama knew he was going to die or anything. But I
Right.
think
He knew he was
but I
gonna
think
pass the
that he
torch,
knew
but
that he
he
was coming to the end of his career. He was a 70-year-old man. He had already been grooming Toyotaro to become the guy, and I think that he saw that he was just wanting to walk away, maybe. You know
hmm
what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm extrapolating a lot about a guy that I don't know personally.
But
So I'm
just like
not
from the
take what I'm
outside looking
saying
in
with a
as a
grain of
fan,
salt. Yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
from the outside looking in as a lifelong fan, the way he was writing the story and the way that he was handling the property seemed like he was getting ready to pass it on to other people. You
hmm
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the last panel that he writes in the super manga sort of reflects that, because it's Piccolo waving away. And that just seems like a weird coincidence. You
I
know what I mean?
it really does. So
And this series, to me, feels like Toriyama filling in some blanks that he always meant to. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Things
yeah.
like, we know for a fact that like the Cell saga and the Boo saga both were sort of like fluid processes that
Mm,
sort of like changed up over time.
right.
And that's how Toriyama handled everything that he wrote. On a week to week basis, he was just feeling out the story as he felt like it. One week he was like, fuck it, Vegeta and Bulma are together. And
hmm
that's just been the canon ever since. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Daima's very reflective of that, to where he's now just going, oh, and by the way, Zeno's not the main god. There's another demon god guy who actually created everything. Yeah, we forgot to fucking talk about that. The fact that we got a gigantic lore dump
yeah.
about the fucking formation of the fucking cosmos in Dragon Ball
As we know it.
as
Yeah.
we know it. The fact that Deborah's grandpa was the ruler of the demon world eons ago, like
Mm,
fucking millennium ago, and that the demon realm existed before the human realm. That eventually a bunch of demons moved out of the demon realm to get away from the tyrannical rule that was there
mm,
and formed the universes that we see in Dragon Ball Super. Formed like Universe
mm,
7, Universe 11,
yeah.
Universe 12,
And
all
it
that.
brought life to them. So like
Exactly, exactly.
these universes were like brought about by like this main big
Exactly. And a lot
Majin.
of the races that we have in Dragon Ball, like the Namekians and the Kais, are descendants of those demons who migrated from the demon world. And
Mm,
creatures like Saiyans and humans evolved in these new environments later on down the line. You know what I'm
yep, yep.
saying? But on top of that, we're introduced to the fact that all of these new universes were created by some other Majin motherfucker that we've never been told about before, who's
Mm,
apparently some sort of cosmic counterbalance to Zeno, the way that Supreme Kai is a counterbalance to Beerus.
right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
So we.
essentially, a theory that I've had for a long time,
Mm,
which is that Zeno is essentially the main god of destruction,
hmm.
is now canon.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Essentially,
Grand Priest is his babysitter, his attendant, the way that
his
Whis is
his
for
his
Beerus.
angel.
Yeah. And this other guy who we just got introduced to is essentially the closest thing we have to an actual god of the multiverse in Dragon Ball. Because it gets
The Kai
confusing.
of Kais, the Majin Kai of
Let me,
Kais,
let me,
the
this will be,
Majin Kai.
this is going to be the closing topic of the video, okay? But I need to break something down for you just
Mm,
really quick before we start signing off here.
right, right.
There are a lot of fucking gods in Dragon Ball, okay? And I'm gonna go down the line of procession here to tell you how many
Should we
fucking
go up
ways
or
there are.
down?
I'm gonna go up, okay? So I'm gonna start at the beginning. The first god,
From an Earthling's
the
perspective,
first god from a Earthling's perspective
it's
in
going to be
Dragon
Korin.
Ball,
It's going
this
to
is
technically be Korin.
Korin. Though Korin
He's
is
not an
never
actual god.
Korin
He's
is
not
never called
divine.
a god. I am
No, no, no.
owing.
They think of like the land of the Korin and how they kind of like praise him and everything
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there. So like he'd be the lowest level, and then beyond
Okay,
there, you
okay.
would then go
He's
to
sort of he's sort of more like a
like a
prophetic
demi kind
figure.
of
But
right.
we'll say
So
Korin is the
we'll
lowest
count him
layer.
technically, and then go up the.
Then there's Kami.
Yep.
Kami would be above that. Kami is literally called the god of earth, okay?
Yes.
Then directly above Kami, the next person we meet is King Yema. So I'm going to assume that's where King Yema goes in the hierarchy because he defers to King Kai on a lot of matters, okay?
All right. All
King
right.
Kai is called the god of the northern quadrant of the universe,
Of
okay?
Universe 7, which
King Kai is specifically, this is some middle management shit, okay?
I swear to
He
God,
is the god of the northern quadrant of Universe 7. He is one of four gods for
all
the
the
four
planets that
quadrants
are
of
all in
those
this
universe.
cluster, which Earth just happens to be in the corner of, that's all his duty. And then
Exactly.
so you picture like
Exactly.
a circle with four split. And you turn it. That northern part, that's all
Think of
him.
it like a GM with restaurants. He manages all the restaurants in this area. He manages all the planets in this area. You
Yes,
see what I'm saying?
yes,
Then above him, and above the West, South, and East Kai, too, you have
hmm,
the Grand Kai.
yes.
I
That's his
don't know what the
name.
fuck the Grand Kai's job is, but he's got a planet full of buff niggas that he trains. That's what he does. I don't know what exactly his job is, but King Kai answers to him. That's my understanding,
All
okay?
right.
Then above him, fucking follow me here, you have the North, South, East, and West Supreme Kai. So
Which is
apparently,
our Supreme Kai that we know.
but here's the thing. King Kai and all of them already manage the planets within their quadrant of the universe. So what the Supreme Kai's job is to create life and to create
And to
planets in
also
those
look over it
universes, okay?
in all of that universe.
Exactly. Our universe, Universe 7, 3 of those guys got killed, which means Shin was supposed to be doing the job for all of them, and he sucked at doing his own job. So Universe 7 sucks, and it's all Shin's fault. It's all Nahare's fault, Supreme Kai's fault, whatever the hell you want to call him. He sucks
But
as
if you
Supreme
think
Kai.
about it, though, it explains partially why our mortal level's so low.
Precisely. No, it makes perfect sense in canon. But anyway, So to recap so far,
Mhm.
Korin, Kami, King Yema, King Kai, East, West, South, Supreme
They're
Kai.
even
Yeah, yeah,
with Supreme
exactly,
Kai,
exactly.
and then
Grand Kai,
Supreme Kai, Grand
the four
or well,
Supreme Kais,
yeah,
and then Grand Supreme Kai. So we
yes.
have Supreme Kai and then the normal Kai. That's like two layers that sort of do the same job, okay?
One just does all of the area that
Then
all of these
not
coordinate ones
above,
do,
not
and also
above,
create
not above, but branching, we have the God of Destruction,
because their
okay?
lives are linked.
They're the same level of seniority in the hierarchy, but they're like across from each other, okay?
Hmm. So now we go up.
Then directly above Beerus's tree, we have to go up a different tree now, is Whis. The angel is technically above the god of destruction. Okay, so the
Right.
angel is your next
Because even
connective
if you
tissue
wipe
up.
out that universe, the angel is still a being that
Exactly,
will be
exactly.
existing.
Then directly above the angel. Okay, hold on. I have to branch real quick. One more thing.
Hmm.
You would probably file Super Saiyan God somewhere around like Kai level or around Kami level. If you
In their
just
like
wanted to,
level of divinity and
yeah,
entering
if
into
you
it.
wanted to
Yeah,
file
I
them
guess
into
so.
because they're
Because like if
technically a
you think
god,
about it,
they don't have any more. They don't have dominion over anything.
right,
You know what I mean?
and as far as Shin considers himself, there's nothing divine about him. He
Yeah,
just happens
exactly.
to be a magical being from the demon realm, and that their species was chosen
Yeah,
to
so
be
I don't know.
ties,
There's nothing that makes a Super Saiyan God a deity other than having God Key. Okay.
which would
But
essentially be the
going back
same
to
thing
our
for
main
someone like
branch
Shin.
here, once you go back to our
You
main
know?
branch here, it starts getting hazy. Because above Whis, you have, here's the different options: Zeno, this new Majin creator guy, Zalama, Grand Priest. Any one of those four could be technically the next level. I think technically Zeno's at the bottom of that, and then Grand Priest is above that, and
Right.
then
Because like
this creator guy I think is the main guy. I
even
think
though
is
and it's just because of the way that this hierarchy works and what they're allowed to do. Because yes, Whis is so much more powerful than Beerus and can beat him extremely easily.
yeah,
He doesn't destroy. It's not his job to destroy.
yeah.
Whereas it is Beerus's job to destroy. So like and destructive capability, I mean, all Beerus thinks is destruction,
Hmm.
as that is his job and
That's all
as
he's
what he's
supposed to care
supposed to
about.
do. Whereas that's not Whis' job at all. Yes, in a fight, and one Whis is going to always outperform Beerus no matter the fuck what, in
Because
all
that's his
emphasis
job.
of it. Exactly, to always be able to keep him in check. But he ain't gonna destroy like Beerus is going to destroy to keep the universe in balance in check. And that's always gonna work like that throughout this hierarchy. So when we think about it like that, yeah, you kind of have to put Zeno, the god of destroyer gods, right below his grand priest,
So
who's
here's the
there to
thing.
keep him in check.
So here's the thing. Now we've got the full tree. Let me take you up it, okay? Korin, Kami, King Yema, King Kai, other Kais,
Mhm.
Grand Kai, Supreme Kai, other Kais, Grand Supreme Kai, Beerus, Whis, Zeno, Grand Priest, Creator Guy that we just learned about.
And then I guess we put like
And then you have
Zalama
to have a
probably
different
like
tree
right
over
there in that
here.
top three, but
And then
like
the other tree over
attached to a
here, you
different
have
tree.
Zalama,
Hmm.
Super Saiyan God. You could fucking throw Frieza in there because he was just doing Beerus's job for like decades. He was just
And he can handle a Kai.
exactly. So like
We
all
ain't
of
seen him do it, but he can handle
he
that
could
shit
totally do that. Shin says, "Oh, I could beat Frieza in one blow." I'm not so sure about that.
anymore.
I'm not so
Yeah,
sure
right,
about that,
right.
buddy.
Mm-mm.
He's talking shit. Somebody needs to tell Frieza. Hey, you know Shin was talking shit, right? While you were in hell, Shin was talking a lot of shit.
If you ever wanted to get back
I'm
at
just saying. I'm
Beerus,
just saying.
that's your way to do it.
Like if you get rid of him, you get rid of Beerus. So like, I'm just saying. Like, I don't think Frieza's aware of that because if Frieza was aware of that, he definitely would have killed Shin by now. He'd
I swear, just because
kill Shin and then tell
he said,
Whis, "Hey,
"Oh."
I heard you need a god of destruction." I heard you.
Like this is my way up the ladder.
Right.
Like nah, man, because
Black Frieza's about to be such a
he's about to
problem.
be a problem.
He's about to be
Yes,
such a problem.
man.
Let me tell you, one tapped. mastered Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego at the same time. One tapped. I just
I swear.
if
Because
you
of
guys are
10 years of training.
if you guys are
Y'all
not
thought
aware,
four
if
months
you
was a
guys are not
problem?
aware, people who have not read the Dragon Ball Super manga, like
10
anime
years?
only people, you need to fucking fix that. Go get the fucking Shonen Jump app and read the Dragon Ball Super manga because when
It
you
is
get up to the Moro
crazy.
and Granola arcs, it's so fucking heat. It's so fucking peak. More I need Moro animated like I need oxygen in my lungs. I need it like I need blood in my veins. Like
Oh man, I
I'll give the I don't understand the way that this property gets handled because it's like that's
well,
such a
no, the
layup.
the deal with
Make
that right
make the
now,
money. Just
the
make
deal
the
with that
money.
right now is Toei wants there to be more, like they want it to basically be complete. Uh, that way they can fulfill 2 to 3
Yeah.
years of anime with it animated and already know that it's already know
So
where
does
it's
that mean the
going and already
next
know the
arc we're
plan.
getting is the last arc?
Unless he's able to squeeze maybe like a mini arc or two
Because
that
I feel
don't
like we
matter
need
as
the
much in
Sadala
there.
arc.
Because
We need to go
because
see
think about
Universe
it, how
6
we
and
were
we need
talking about
Black Frieza
before with
resolve.
the time of length that each of these sagas really take realistically,
Mm.
and then meshing that up with how much time we've got left. We've got like what, 6 months, 9 months, almost maybe a
Well,
year, year and a
some of them
half
aren't
at
that big a
max.
problem. Some of them aren't that big a
We can
problem
fit a
because
whole arc in 3 days.
Goku Black for the characters takes place over the course of like 3 or 4 days. Like you know what I'm saying?
And that right there is probably like the longest arc besides Cell games, and the wait right there with waiting for fucking 10 days. So like besides Cell Saga,
Well,
that's probably the longest
it
arc.
depends on how you want to look at the Frieza arc because they were
three
traveling
months
there for
to
three
get
months,
to
and
the
then Goku had to go there over the course of like a week, so they were on Namek for like 2 weeks.
and Goku wasn't
Um,
there long at all. Like everything wrapped
and
up
then the
pretty quickly
Cell
once
arc
he's
has
there.
like weird time
The
skips.
time
Like
skipping,
there's two
right?
time skips in the Cell arc.
So it's like when you really think, yeah, and it's like if you include the time skips and stuff, but like
The
either
Boo
way
shit
though, it's
happens
like
over the course of a week. Like the
we
Boo
know
shit
that we
happens
can,
like super fast.
right, but we know that we can fit arcs into
Yeah.
the amount of time that we've got left and have some interesting things still happen. So it's like
Hmm.
Black Frieza doesn't necessarily have to be
Frieza
next,
coming back
but
in Res F was an afternoon. That was like that entire event was like 2 hours of their life.
bruh.
Was like
So it's
two.
like when you think about it like that, we can definitely still fit a lot in before we still get to N of Z
You
proper.
see, but end of superhero though, Pan's already a little kid.
That's why
She's
we
already
only got up to
basically the
like a
age she
year.
has for end of
Exactly.
Z.
Exactly. She's a preschooler. So we only got like a year. A year or less
That's
to
the thing
throw in
is
as much.
here are the hanging threads Super has to resolve. We have Black Frieza. We have Oob. We have
Mhm,
Broly. We have Beerus and Goku's rematch. We have Universe 6 because we were promised that we would see Planet Sadala.
mhm.
That's 5 things right there, and that's not even counting like Zalama, not even counting Yamoshi, like things that have been hinted at that we've never been like shown in canon.
Right.
Like, so it's like I don't know that Torotaro is going to be able to fit all of this shit in if he's planning on ending it in like an arc or two. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Exactly. Like
So
give us a little bit
and when it
more.
comes back, like if it does really well, like there's no reason they wouldn't try to stretch it out further. You know what I mean? You would
Right.
just have to be
But
willing to go past end of Z.
essentially we know we're
You would
not
just have
getting
to be
anything animated until we got more manga arcs.
crazy.
So we will get those arcs
We gotta see
animated,
to
but
Toyotaro. I know you ain't watching this, but spread your wings, man. Do what you want to do. That's what Toriyama always did.
Hmm,
Fuck what anybody thinks. Just do what you feel like on a given day. Trust your instincts, man. Tell your own story. Don't be worried about making everyone happy because you never will.
oh
If
man.
I had any advice to give the man, that would be what I say is tell the story you want to tell, man.
And honestly, that goes for anybody and everyone listening for real. Like tell your story.
Exactly. Don't be afraid that oh people are going to think this is lame. Oh people aren't going to like this. Everyone's going to someone's going to have a problem with everything you do.
Ain't
So
that?
do what you enjoy and similar-minded people, like-minded people will gravitate to that thing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
That is fact.
You'll find your audience as long as you're genuine about shit. You know what I mean? That's my fear is I don't want Dragon Ball to become like corporate, become like overthought like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we
I
have
don't
to
I
try to appeal to as many people as possible.
I don't think it will. I don't think he's. Mm. I mean, only
One.
time will tell, but
Mm,
I feel like
Daima and
I
Sparking
don't have to
Zero have
fear
been
that.
feeding us real good.
Hmm.
So Dragon Ball's in a pretty good place right now, but we need Super to come back. We need this wave to
Hey,
keep going.
hey,
We
we're
need
gonna
Super to
start
come back.
getting manga man, we're gonna get manga chapters again soon. Man. Can't wait for next one.
Ah,
February 20th.
I swear to God, I'm so ready.
I am too. But nah, on that note,
On that note, it feels like we have covered all the Dragon Ball thoughts we had at the moment.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Daima's
say,
great. If y'all ain't been watching it
if you
because of
haven't been
any
watching
reason,
Daima,
if you've been
man,
waiting because you want to binge all of it at once, I promise it's at a great spot to just jump on the train now.
it's a perfect
Do
time
it.
to binge because
Because,
like it feels like the
oh,
story is sort of at the I don't know how many episodes it's supposed to have.
20.
20. So yeah, we're
Yeah,
we're a little past the halfway point. It's a really
and
good
it
time to binge.
feels,
It feels like it. It feels like the story
especially
is
so you can
escalating.
feel like you're a part of like the event of like the last few episodes too. Don't wait until the last few episodes are already out. Watch the last few episodes in real time because
Hmm.
then you're part of that hype train that's at least going out to the end of it because it's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
picked up
No, but we appreciate if you've stayed all the way to the end here. We really do appreciate you taking the time.
an hour and a
Uh
half or so out
it's
of your
been a
day
little bit
is
since we recorded one of these. Like it's like
man.
we were getting our sea legs back a little bit.
Hmm.
Kicking off the new year, right? You know what I mean?
I would definitely say so.
It's January 7th as of recording, so we've had a week into this year. And man,
Got one of these recorded and filmed. Y'all will get to see it.
mhm.
Based on the episode title, y'all will probably see or like I guess hey, by the time you guys see this, hey, it'll be a lot closer to getting that manga chapter. It'll
Oh hell
probably
yeah.
already be out with this episode.
Oh
We
yeah,
got
by the
zero,
time we
one,
get here.
two, three. This is the fourth episode. So yeah, depending on how
Oh
we
yeah, no, it might
plan
be
these
out
out,
by
yeah,
then.
you guys
Might
will
be out by
probably
then.
yeah,
No, we got to
man.
start dropping these things soon. So
Yeah,
like,
no, and the thing is by soon, I mean, we're saying this in the first episode. Episode zero could be dropping like within the next week. So like,
man, man,
y'all could be seeing this about a month from us filming it right now.
hell
This
yeah. But
episode. So like, nah, it's pretty crazy and how this is about to start overlapping with time.
mhm. just uh just some of the upcoming episode things we're going to be doing pretty soon. We're going to be having an episode with the whole group.
That
Us
would
and our
have happened
co-hosts
today, but
JFO and Shaq. We really want to talk about that Superman trailer. Really talk about things going on in the DC universe. I've been watching Creature Commandos. Shit is nice. I have the
man,
utmost faith in James Gunn, so I'm excited to get into all that stuff when we get the whole crew together.
type shit.
Beyond that, we're going to have to discuss your continued One Piece journey at some point
Man, yeah, no,
because
because
he's gotten a
I've
little
been
bit
digging,
deeper.
I've been
And
digging, bro.
oh
One Piece
yeah,
is definitely becoming my shit, and I'm like, oh
oh yeah,
man,
no, the
Loki,
farther
y'all
in
are
you
gonna
get,
get
the
that.
more hooked you're going to be. By the time you get to Wano, you're just going to be like, this is my life now. You're just here's my thing, man, is to me, my big three is like Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece.
Mm,
I grew up on Naruto, but
right.
like I think One Piece is like the heights of shonen storytelling. I think that's as good as it gets in terms of just like writing a story. Like
Mm.
it's like Lord of the Rings level by the time you get really deep into this shit. Because at the point we'll get into that next time. But thank you for joining us tonight. This has been the To Be Determined podcast. I
Yes,
am Nick
yes.
Swisher,
And I am Samat Terrell. It's been
and
great
we
with you.
are signing off.
To be determined. Man,
All right.
nah,
Stuff
that was
one in the
great.
bag. All right.